Okay, so chapter 5. So remember yesterday, Shen agreed that Seeker could use the pugs to help her and her grandpa on the race to the end of the world. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Okay, so there's the opening picture. So once they had made the sled shed into a kennel for the pugs, Shen followed Seeker inside. It was cosy in the Po of Ice, remember the post office, warmed by the heat from a stove. A woman was heating milk in a pan. She had the same charcoal eyebrows as Seeker and the same wide smile. "Seeker," she said, "you must be frozen. Did you find your dogs?" "Yes, Mum," said Seeker. "And this must be your shipwrecked friend," said Seeker's mum. "Poor boy. Is there anyone we can contact for you?" "Not really," said Shen. "Well," said Seeker's mother, "I shall make breakfast for you both." Okay. Seeker led him round behind the counter into a back room where a big carved bed stood. In the bed, beneath a mound of furs and quilted counterpanes, lay the biggest man Shen had ever seen. So I hope you can see the picture. So just there is what Shen and Seeker can see. Okay. He was so big, this man, that Shen wasn't even sure he was a man at first. Under all those coverings, he looked like an old boat which had been brought ashore and turned upside down for winter. Then Shen saw the big bearded face resting on the pillows and realised that the rumbling sound he could hear was snores. Who is this? Does anybody know? "That's Grandpa," whispered Seeker. And there's Grandpa, look. The old man's face was grey with age, rugged as a mountain rock. Shen remembered Seeker saying that her grandpa would soon die and wondered if he was going to do it now. But then, beneath one bushy eyebrow, a bright eye opened and turned to stare at Shen. "Grandpa, this is Shen," Seeker said. "He was shipwrecked and he has dogs with him. We can enter the race." "Ah," said the old man. "So Seeker has told you about the race?" "A bit," said Shen. "It did not always used to be a race," said Grandpa in his deep, rumbly voice. "In the olden days, no one knew of the Snow Father or his icicle palace. Then, one true winter, a brave girl named Uka strapped on her skis and went exploring. 50 kinds of snow she met. She crossed Kraken Deep, but the Kraken was sleeping and did not trouble her. All the way to the top of the world she went, and when she got there, she found the old Snow Father waiting, and he granted her a wish." Just then, Seeker's mum granted Shen's wish with a mug of hot chocolate and hot waffles with honey. Grandpa went on. "Well, of course, Uka's story spread far and wide. One lifetime later, when another true winter turned the sea to ice, all the brave young men of the north went racing off to see if they could get their wishes granted too." "Oh no," said the Snow Father. "Do you know how hard it is to make wishes come true? Only the one who was first to reach me shall have their wish granted." And he sent the rest home disappointed. Well, after that, each time true winter dawned, there were all sorts of fights and rages, everyone trying to be the first to reach the Snow Father. "We can't have this," he said, seeing the blood on the snow as young warriors fought each other to be the first through the gates of the palace. "There must be rules. There must be fairness. You must all start together and the best sled will win. And that is why, ever since all those who seek the Snowfather's palace set out together from Snowdovia, that is where I started from the year I made the trip. The wind was rising outside. The thin hissing it made must have sounded to Grandpa like runners racing over snow. He closed his eyes and smiled, imagining his bed was a sled carrying him north. "Tell us more," said Seeker. "Tell us about Cracking Deep and the Lost Hope." Grandpa shook his head. "I don't remember those stories anymore," he said. "It was all so long ago. True winter comes but once in a lifetime, and I have seen two, which means my lifetime must be over. I wish I could see the old Snowfather one more time, but I am too old now to make the journey. My time is nearly done." "Oh, Grandpa," said Seeker, and Shane thought that she was going to cry again. "Maybe we can take you. You've waited so long." "No, Seeker," he said, "but you should go." "Me?" said Seeker. "All on her own?" said Seeker's mother worriedly. "I'll come too," said Shen. After all, he thought, it wasn't as if he had anything better to do, now that the Lucky Star was sunk and Captain Jeggins had abandoned him. "Yes," said Grandpa, "you should both go. You mustn't miss a chance like this. You're young and brave, and the carvings on my sled will keep away the trolls and the snow spooks and other creatures which wander abroad in a true winter. And when you see the Snowfather, tell him I'll send my regards." "I'll do better than that," said Seeker. "I'll ask him to make you well again, and then you'll remember all the stories and live to see a third true winter probably." "All that way, with only such little dogs to pull you," said Seeker's mother doubtfully. But she had been listening to Grandpa's stories of the Great North Race all her life, just like Seeker had. If she hadn't had to stay and look after him, she would have been jumping on that sled herself. From outside there came a sound like wild applause. Fireworks were blooming above the frozen hills. "This is the race meet beginning down at Snowdovia," said Seeker. Her grandpa reached out his arms and took Shen and Seeker's hands in his. "Good luck," he whispered. "And now you must go. The race will be starting soon." Okay, so they're going to enter the race. Can't wait to see tomorrow what happens.